What's up, YouTube? This is Sly88Fry here. So yesterday, Scott the Woz uploaded a brand new video, and it's about 18-19 minutes long, so that's within the time frame that I'm willing to do a react. I didn't do it yesterday. I usually try to react the day the video comes out to get the most views, but priority was to keep pushing my work yesterday, and not to mention I already had uploaded a react video yesterday anyways to Jaden Animation, which is something I hadn't done for a year. Anyways, let's get to it. This new Scott the Woz video, sure to be entertained like all the other ones. Let's go. Digital only, physical games.
Scott here. You know, the world's a much better place without things. Equity is the worst. I don't want the responsibilities that come with owning a door.
Okay.
I sure do miss the perks of it. So I bought just a doorknob to put on my shelf.
Yeah, you make sense.
And I do much, but it reminds me what it's like to have purpose.
Why? I like boxes. I got nothing better to do.
Right.
But they are my only hobby. I also love physical games inside them. I'm half pissed.
What's the
Physical
point?
video games are hard to make. I mean, I couldn't do it. This is the best I could do. Which is why they've always been and will always be special. If you officially release a game on a video game console on a disc or cartridge, it feels like you've made it. They don't just let anybody do that sometimes. We live in a digital age now. It's become uncool to hold things. But for those with a soul, physical media is still out there. And the digital age makes physical that much more special. You're telling me when that game publisher could just spit this out on digital stores and call it a day, they went to all the trouble of using plastic? Obviously, digital is more convenient and the way of the future, but I think physical has enough advantages over it where it makes it hard for it to completely take over, especially with games. With physical media, you can sell that in stores more organically, and I've done some research on stores like that. Target enjoys the concept that they sell you a game console which you keep buying games for at Target. At least that's what I've gathered. They sell digital codes in the stores, but I don't really get it. Little game download cards like this don't even have the codes on the cards themselves. They print them on your receipt. So if you get a download card as a gift for somebody, you have to include these both, which is frankly just clunky paper use.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that. If they included the code on the card, you could just kind of scrape it off at the store and then just, you know, enter the code at home. Like, yeah, that's why they put the code on the receipt. So that you'd have to buy it to get the code. It makes a lot of sense, honestly. I remember back in the Wii era, I would get those Nintendo points cards, or back then it was Wii points cards. Then the DSi came out, they became Nintendo points cards, which you can use both on the Wii and the DSi. And you'd buy the card. Then I would buy the card, I'd take it home, then I was supposed to scrape off this gray thing at the bottom to get the code out of there. And I think what they did was, when you found the card in the store, like, they covered that area that you would scrape, so you couldn't do it at the store. I believe they did that, but it's been so long I don't remember. I mean, I haven't played the Wii in ages. I played Wii U for years, ever since the release date of the Wii U in 2012. In fact, speaking of Target, ironically, and this was at the time the only Target in my hometown of Santa Rosa. A couple years later, there was another Target in Santa Rosa. But anyways, I was literally the first person in the store to get the Wii U. And I got the deluxe one, the 32 gigabytes one, not the stupid 8 gigabyte one or whatever. But I was literally the first person to get it. Literally the first. Which I guess isn't really a brag, because it wasn't like the Wii when there was lines going way out to wait for it. The Wii U just wasn't like that. Just people that weren't really into it for several reasons, like, of course, the fact that the name sounded too similar to its predecessor, and they sucked at marketing it, so on and so forth. Obviously, with the Switch, they fixed their mistakes and are selling really well.
That's the only scenario these make sense in, as gifts. Because if you had a gift card to a store and want a digital game, why not just buy an eShop card for funds? Well, that's another reason physical makes sense. Gifts. It's way more fun to open this as a gift compared to this. Digital cards just aren't exciting. Couple that with the fact that going digital only means you're gonna fill up your console's storage capacity faster than if you have a
That's true.
Downloading games takes a while. It requires
Sometimes
internet, a lot of storage space, and it's just not as fun. It's an adventure to buy a physical game. I fell on the way to the shop. That's a story to tell.
Ooh.
Downloading a game, I still felt, and that's just embarrassing. However, it is a lot more convenient.
He still fell one down.
Faster at loading up titles, it makes digital a lot more enticing. Back on the Wii.
The only issue is that the Switch still is a 32 gigabyte console, so you have to. So if you just download all the games, you're gonna have to buy a micro SD card anyways. I hate that. How could it be 32 gigabytes? The base model of the PS3 was 20 gigabytes, but the low tier model, but the base model I think was 40 gigabytes or something, and that was a PS3. You know, it came out 11 years before the Switch, so why does the Switch only 32 gigabytes? What the fuck, you know? But, I mean, at least it's easy to get a micro SD card for it, but it's an extra expense I wish I didn't have to make.
Can you tell why I didn't go all digital? So digital has its advantages, like a vasectomy. But games are so large, they take forever to download. You kind of almost need a physical option. These aren't like movies or music. These things can be hundreds of gigabytes in size and are too complicated to stream as easily as other media.
Hundreds of
digital
gigabytes.
Games, if they get yanked off online storefronts, they're a goner. It's hard to preserve
that's so
these
sad.
things.
That's
Physical
so
games
sad.
aren't nearly as prevalent, or they're completely non-existent. But man, printing those physical games can cost a lot for a company, especially compared to just putting it out digitally. You have to be fairly confident the physical copy will sell well to warrant a release like this. It usually boils down to the cost of printing the disc or manufacturing the cartridges. So, you don't want to take the risks of releasing a physical game, but still want a presence at retail and satiate customers who want something physical. Nobody wins!
Except for Satan.
A cheap alternative to releasing physical games, some companies have discovered, is what I call a digital-only physical game. It comes in a box, you get artwork, the console branding, the whole 9 yards. Everything you would expect from a physical release. Except the physical release. Instead of a disc or cartridge, you get a download code, because I really needed 16 more characters in my life. Once you redeem the download code...
Sorry. I just noticed this was quieter than other videos I've watched.
Customers who want something physical. Nobody wins!
Except for Satan.
A cheap alternative to releasing physical games, some companies have discovered, is what I call a digital-only physical game. It comes in a box, you get artwork, the console branding, the whole 9 yards. Everything you would expect from a physical release. Except the physical release. Instead of a disc or cartridge, you get a download code, because I really needed 16 more characters in my life. Once you redeem the download code,
why even sell? Yeah, exactly.
This is pointless.
What the fuck?
It's like the companies that are releasing these things are going, oh, well, this is good enough. If people who want physical versions of our games, they're too fucking stupid to realize that we're taking the easy way out. And besides, all they want is the box anyways. Yeah, maybe a dumb bitch who overly values packaging. I get overjoyed when there's a random blank piece of paper included in the box. But you see, I may enjoy the box. When there's nothing inside the box, what's there to enjoy about the box?
God! This is one of the stupidest trends of modern gaming. And this isn't only
really
like
dumb.
a 3-game deal or something. I didn't see one game do this and start proclaiming the truth. No. Look at all these! It's more than 3! The first game I can recall doing this was DuckTales Remastered. Well, it was digital only at launch. Capcom released this boxed version only on PS3, and it didn't even come with a disc. You got an exclusive pin and a cardboard disc, so why am I bitching? It's such a weird release considering this digital copy only box was exclusive to PlayStation 3. The game came out for 360 and Wii U alongside that console, so why they made this retail edition that didn't even come with a disc exclusive to one console is beyond me.
I don't know.
Say, though, at least putting a cardboard disc in here, that's kind of cute. The pen originally came on it, though I think it would have made more sense if the digital code was printed on it. That way, I mean, the game would be on a disc. But I think what makes this release stand apart from the rest is the fact that it did get a physical disc release, and they announced it a month after the game released digitally. It was for all platforms.
That doesn't make any
sense. It was
sense.
basically the same as the original digital-only copy.
Oh my
I guess
God.
Capcom wasn't optimistic about the game's potential sales, and then immediately afterwards they went fucking oops. But if you weren't optimistic about the sales, why even do the digital-only physical to begin with? Like really, if you were worried that the game wasn't going to sell well at retail, why would you release a pointless box copy that has less value than a standard release?
I don't know.
It comes with a pin. Nintendo did a similar thing with Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars. Those bastards! So this game released simultaneously on Nintendo 3DS and Wii U. I remember many saying this was their big cross-buy experiment. So only on Nintendo platforms do you have the luxury of buying Super Mario Bros. 9 times. Over on the PlayStation console, Sony was offering loads of games you buy once, and you can play on your PS3, PS4, Vita free of charge. Sometimes they weren't even legacy titles, but damn it, I chose to buy Clue Clue Land twice. It's just odd that Nintendo had 2 systems getting NES and SNES games released on them at the same time, both on storefronts called the Nintendo eShop, yet buying Mario 3 on Wii U meant you still had to buy Mario 3 on 3DS. This Mario vs. Donkey Kong game works across both systems, so Nintendo tried this method where if you bought one version, you'd get a download code for the other. Yeah, even though this was a modern idea, it still had that classic Nintendo stank. You'd expect to just buy it on Wii U, then go to your 3DS and be able to download it from the eShop with your account.
What would they do?
No. no. They love these download codes so much they decided to celebrate them with a box copy. Over in Europe, digital-only physical copies were released for both Wii U and 3DS. What a waste! So these boxes just contain a download code for said system. Then, after redeeming said download code, you get a download code for the other system. But why not just have both download codes in the box? That way you could just release a 3DS case with the download codes, or the Wii U case with the download codes. Not both. Instead, they released both Wii U and 3DS versions of the digital-only boxes, where both basically contained the same two games, even though the Wii U case uses up much more plastic and space. Like, not only is that a waste doing that to begin with, but they did it in the most wasteful way imaginable.
As AVGN would say, what were they thinking? It doesn't make any sense.
It's weird because Japan got physical versions of this game. You get the disc or cartridge and the download code for the other console. So Japan was apparently the one market Nintendo felt confident releasing a physical copy of this game in. North America, we only got the game digitally, so they thought there was not a single American who wants to feel this thing. In Europe? Well, let's just assume they fucking hate Europe. If they just didn't print physical copies in general, I would understand. But they went to the trouble of printing discs and cartridges in Japan. But Europe? They felt confident enough to use game boxes, print cover art, create all these download code slips, ship them out on trucks, take up shelf space in stores, but not print the game on cartridges.
Too far.
During this generation, hot trend was the episodic releases of games, spearheaded by Telltale. You just put out the first episode of a game, then finish it throughout the year. Of course, they wanted a retail presence, so usually around the time the first episodes of their game released, a physical copy came out as well. These confused me at the time. They didn't say episode 1 or anything. It was just, yeah, the game, the full series. I'd see these in the store and
that is really stupid.
Isn't it not finished yet? But in fine print, it's clarified. This is a season pass disc. While it is a physical game, the disc only includes the first episode and grants you access to download the rest of the episodes as they become available. I think what annoys me about releases like this is, what's the point of a physical release when you have to download so much of it? Like, yeah, it's still on a disc, but barely. Is a disc really worth it at that point?
Not really.
You have to download 4/5 of the rest of the game. That's a lot of hard drive space that's going to be taken up by this game, and you still have to get up to put the disc in. At that point, it's taking up that much storage space.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Download the whole game. I almost feel like the download code in the box would have made more sense for games like these, at least for when they're not finished yet. But no, they did releases like this to almost fool people walking through a GameStop into going, wow, a new Batman game?
Yeah, they probably did that,
not reading the fact that it's only 1/5 of the game, or if it's after the game finished, only 1/5 of the game is on the disc, and they had to download the rest. Because with digital-only physical games, you have to make sure the consumer knows what they're getting into. What if they don't have internet but love buying Lara Croft in the Temple of Osiris? There's gotta be somebody out there. Why did Square Enix decide, okay, this game is good enough to get a box, but not a disc? Of course, lots of business decisions go into this kind of stuff. There's gotta be more explanations.
Never seen one that looks like that.
We didn't want to invest in printing discs for this game. Because while that is a fair reason, it's expensive to do that. And seeing the hundreds of games that get physical releases that truly don't deserve anything more than a face made about them, even by Square Enix themselves, why does something like this warrant a disc, but this doesn't? Is there some kind of totem pole of deservedness where the Temple of Osiris reaches the box and artwork, but nothing else tier? You obviously believe this game would sell in a retail environment by releasing this, so why do this? They like to make these releases more enticing.
I don't know.
Bonuses, a poster, pin, and all that. But that makes me question it even more.
Yeah.
You're willing to do all this, but not print a disc? Yeah. The Sonic Mania Collector's Edition. Jesus. I measured. This thing is, in fact, huge. Comes with a Sonic statue, a fake Genesis cartridge with a gold ring inside, a metallic card, and a download code.
You gotta be kidding me.
All of this,
download code.
And no disc, no game card, no case.
Oh, well.
This is a big collector's edition, and it wasn't like exclusive to Sega's online shop or anything, not exclusive to a single platform like DuckTales. No, I saw Xbox One versions of these things rotting in Best Buys. That is a problem you wouldn't have if you just did a regular release. Now, Sonic Mania did get a physical version 1 year later, which kind of makes this release a whole lot stupider. And it's a nice collector's edition, but being digital only is just so dumb. You could make the argument it's to make collectors double dip. We're going to put up the collector's edition and include only a download code. Then we'll do a physical release afterwards. I see a lot of studios do this. The physical release happens after the digital one's been out a while. Get everybody to buy the digital, then the physical releases, and even if the collectors bought the digital version, they just can't help themselves. There needs to be a hotline for this kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a smart business practice. Might not be the most ethical in the world, but hey, I fall for it.
I think it's kind of
I know
dumb.
exactly what they're doing, which doesn't mean I fall for it. Just means I'm a bitch. Pretty much with all these, I see no point to them. I feel like they raise more questions than answers. Especially the mini Xbox One download code boxes. Little keyring-sized plastic boxes containing nothing but a download code and will eventually be the main source of ocean pollution. They are the cutest possible way to kill a seal. But I've saved the most notorious example for last. Ladies and gentlemen, the horror.
It's a joke book. That's really morbid. The Nintendo Switch is the leader of bullshit in this category due to having such proprietary game cartridges. Releasing bigger games physically on Switch is a challenge for developers and publishers.
Yeah.
These little guys cost more to produce than just a regular Blu-ray disc, and
They
the
do?
cost increases if the game's file size is bigger.
I was always under the impression that it'd probably be cheaper to produce those little cartridges. I mean, it's honestly, I think eventually consoles are probably going to use this SD card style cartridge more than, discs. I mean, seriously, it's... Which I guess I could see why it would cost more, because an SD card, like, even a cheap one's like $40 or something, or 20 or whatever, but still, these things can store a lot more than a Blu-ray or whatever. So, at some point, I mean, I'm sure most future consoles, after the generation that started now with the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever, the Series X or whatever, are probably going to do, digital only. But I'm sure if they do anything that's physical media, they'll probably do these little cards, to be honest, because that's just more convenient. They're smaller, they're easier to carry around, don't take up as much room, and they could store more than a disc anyway. But, yeah, I guess they probably are more expensive.
And they got 1 gigabyte cards, 2 gigabytes,
Exactly.
4, 8, 16, 32 is pretty much the max, and that is incredibly pricey. The problem is, game sizes right now, how much is that in square feet? A lot of games just straight up won't fit on a Switch cartridge, even the biggest possible ones. So that's why many games are just flat out digital only on the system, even games that would normally have a retail presence. But some publishers just can't help themselves. Enter Capcom. Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 were both releasing on Nintendo Switch on the same day, both as separate releases. They both got physical copies for other platforms. Surely the Switch will succumb to a similar fate. I'm still pissed. Capcom decided to bundle both games together for a physical release, but in doing that, only Legacy Collection 1 was on the cart, 2 you had to download. What made it worse is that this little fact almost forced them to plaster this giant banner at the top saying, "Don't buy me!" This was the box art that was shown off when the bundle was first announced, but
Wow, that's
thankfully the
pretty
official release
stupid.
got rid of it, only containing this little blurb on the bottom. It's still pretty lame. It's just, you can't tell me both of these games wouldn't fit on a single cartridge. They're
probably
Mega
would.
Man games. Low calorie. Legacy Collection 1 is under 400 megabytes in size, with 2 being around 3.2 gigabytes. So they obviously would have fit both on a 4 gigabyte
Yeah, why didn't they
cartridge,
do
but
that?
Why do that when you can cheap out with the 1 gig? Also, thanks Capcom for forcing me to download the bigger game. At least with releases like this, where some of the game has to be downloaded, you can make the
Doesn't
argument,
make any
well,
sense.
This way I'm saving some space. Yeah, at this point you might as well just download both games. They might have also not put them both on the same cartridge, considering they are technically 2 separate games. Nintendo updated the Switch later down the line to allow physical games to include multiple games in one, so when you insert the card, all the games pop up on the home screen. So if this released later, I'm sure they would have done that. But back in 2018, if they wanted both on the card, combining the 2 of them into one would have required, gasp, developing a game select menu. I would have loved if they combined the 2 releases, called it Mega Man Ultimate Legacy Collection, but
That'd be
no,
pretty neat.
this is stupid. Let's do that. At least Mega Man didn't get the Resident Evil treatment. Okay, first off, Resident Evil Revelations Collection. Calling a pair of games a collection is kind of weird to me. Oh yeah, we got tons of games. Revelations 2. But this follows the same trend. The first game's on the card,
so
second
dumb.
game you have to download. Of course it's the bigger one. 26
God.
fucking gigabytes. Come on, Capcom.
You're basically using up how much you have left on the Switch to download it. That's terrible. It's like when they first released NBA 2K18, I think it was, on the Switch back in late 2017, and the game was so big that you couldn't actually play the whole game on your Switch. You had to, like, you could play part of it, but you had to, add additional memory through a micro SD card to play the whole game. It was just, oh my god, it's so stupid.
If you're gonna do this, at least have Revelations 2 be the one on the card. This game alone doesn't fit on a Switch without a micro SD card. If Revelations 1 was the download, that's at least only around 12 gigabytes. Just was a bone here. Oh man,
Yeah.
this box, like, great. We do have the giant white banner disclaimer. I understand this for retail, but maybe just a sticker would do. Like, this is always here, even after I buy it.
terrible.
Well, good to know. Both of these games, the game included on the game card, are games that have already gone physical.
You know, I really hope at some point Nintendo releases a Switch that has a larger hard drive. 32 gigabytes is just... I mean, the fact that they have to release games that say, oh, you require a micro SD card, like, oh my god, it's so stupid. You shouldn't have to require a micro SD card to add a few games to your console. That's what it's for. It's for playing these games. It's just reminding me of how annoying that is. I had first purchased a Switch on Thanksgiving of 2018 and got a deal. Got some games for it. And then I stupidly lost it in December of 2019. And then I bought another Switch in August of 2020. It's this one right here. And I had lost all my game cartridges with the first Switch, so I didn't want to... I decided, you know what, if I want to make sure I can hold on to my save data a lot more, I'll actually digitally download the games I plan to, like, you know, keep no matter what. So I downloaded Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, downloaded Puyo Puyo Tetris, because the second game actually came out like 6 months later. And then, so now I have that game too, but I downloaded Super Mario Maker 2 and several other games, and because I don't want the risk of losing cartridges and not being able to play the game again. But I hate that it takes up so much space. Like, my Switch has, like, I think 3 gigabytes left after all the games I download on it. So I do have a micro SD card in it now, but I wish I didn't have to do that. In fact, it's the micro SD card I used to use not on my current cell phone, but a couple cell phones before this one. I think I even used it on the cell phone just before this one, before I was like, oh, fuck it, okay, I'm gonna put the micro SD card in my Switch. But, like, I shouldn't have to require that. So that's actually how I saved money. I used a micro SD card I already had, which I had bought for a cell phone years ago. Still, it's really frustrating, and at some point I'll probably buy another micro SD card that's meant specifically for the Switch, and I'll just put that other micro SD card back on my phone. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be this way, but that's just how Nintendo decides to be lately. And you can't just claim that, oh, Nintendo doesn't want to make the most powerful console. That's not even true. The Super Nintendo was more powerful than the Sega Genesis and had better sound quality. The even though they're both 16-bit, games that were released on both systems oftentimes looked a little better on the Super Nintendo, and obviously they sounded a lot better. There are exceptions. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog came out for Genesis, and it looks gorgeous and sounds amazing. The N64 was a 64-bit console. Its competitor, the PlayStation, was 32 bits. Problem was N64 was cartridges instead of discs. And then the GameCube was actually considered to be more powerful than both the Xbox and the PS2. Now, I didn't know that. Even back then, I thought the Xbox was the most powerful one. But no, the Xbox just happens to be one of the first home consoles to have an internal hard drive, which is, you know, something that's a standard nowadays. Obviously the GameCube, they chose those mini discs instead of DVDs, and that was annoying because some games that only required one disc on the PS2 and the Xbox would require 2 discs on the GameCube, like Medal of Honor Rising Sun, and I can't think of another game off the top of my head. No, I can't think of another game off the top of my head, but there were several others that did. But anyways, it's been proven, so you can't just say that Nintendo's has never been about making the most powerful console. For decades, they did have the most powerful console. They did. They just decided that was not the route they'd take anymore, and they would just focus on other things. Like the Wii was definitely less powerful than the PS3 and 360, and the Wii U was more powerful than those, but less powerful than the Xbox One and the PS4, obviously. And the Switch is I guess probably as powerful as the Wii U, maybe a little more so, but, you know, portable. So yeah, it's only been like since the Wii came out that Nintendo stopped focusing on having the most powerful console and stopped focusing on graphics and stuff. Before that, they actually did try to have the most powerful console out there, which I guess didn't entirely work except with the Super Nintendo over the Genesis. So that's why they tried a different route. Anyways, I think I've been talking. Let's continue long enough. Let's continue.
Releasing on Nintendo platforms before. The games that are digital-only download codes have there's a bone here. Oh man, this box looks great. We do have the giant white banner disclaimer. I understand this for retail, but maybe just a sticker would do. This is always here, even after I buy it. Oh, good to know. Both of these games, the game included on the game card, are games that have already gotten physical releases on Nintendo platforms before. The games that are digital-only download codes have never been on a Nintendo platform prior, let alone physically. If they were going to do this, I probably would prefer if they said, you know what, Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 already released on 3DS physically.
I have that one.
Let's give Legacy Collection 2 some time to shine if we have to pick one for the card. And you know, why not just release these games separately? They pulled the exact same shtick for other games in each of these series. Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1+2. Oh, what a surprise. Resident Evil Origins Collection, Resident Evil 0, the prequel is on the card, with Resident Evil Remake being the download. So I guess instead of doing the first game like with the other releases this time, they did the first game. Resident Evil Triple Pack, Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, and only 4 is on the card. At least the card doesn't say Resident Evil Triple Pack.
Yeah, that'd be stupid.
4 was still the only one on there. At that point, wouldn't it have been nice to have reversible cover art for just Resident Evil 4 instead I get box art that looks like I'm packing chips for lunch? The download codes do last a while though, most of which last roughly 800 years, give or take.
Wow.
Good. Anything less than 600, I would have flipped. You've got the games that require a download, like only portions on the card. L.A. Noire was like this, and I just said, I'll just download the whole thing. If I'm gonna have to download a good chunk of it, why bother with a card? I don't save a ton of space on my system, and I still have to grab the game and put it in my Switch. What a
Was that the best pick? I'm sorry. I know I've been pausing a lot, but...
Listen, I just said, I'll just download the whole thing. If I'm gonna have to download a good chunk of it, why bother with a card? I don't...
I'm sorry, was that the best pick of him they could have used for the cover? I mean, is that really the NBA 2K19 cover? Like, I get it. When you're exhausted and you're moving quickly and yeah, you want to open your mouth, but like, just the way he looks, like, come on. They couldn't pick something that looked better? Like, you couldn't find one where his mouth was shut? You know, like, what the fuck?
Save a ton of space on my system, and I still have to grab the game and put it in my Switch. Mortal Kombat 11 did this too. Without the download, we can only play basic versus battles. However, that's kind of the main attraction, and this is a game that released on PS4 and Xbox One the exact day. I think the download requirement concessions are tolerable. But then they re-released Mortal Kombat 11 with the DLC included and got rid of the game card. Like, what? Why not just have the game card from the original release, plus the download codes for the DLC?
I don't know.
To have 32 gigabytes of free space. Doom on Nintendo
that's how much space the Switch already has. 32? That's terrible.
Like with the original MK11 release, you had to download a portion of the game. But it was the online multiplayer, which just makes perfect sense. Not everybody was buying Doom for the multiplayer, and plus, a lot of what makes these physical releases worth it is the fact these games are being basically preserved when they're put out like this. Doom's online multiplayer is obviously internet-based, so it's not going to be alive forever regardless if it's included on the cartridge or not.
Yeah.
So putting the single player there and having the multiplayer downloadable makes total sense.
Yeah.
Releasing a box version of Fortnite does not. Which one should I get?
The fuck?
Legends. Why
free
buy
download or $30?
$30 is an option.
The
These
fuck?
games are too popular for them to not release them at retail, but by being basically just online multiplayer and a free download, there's no point to putting them on a card. So, they stuff these games fresh with download codes for some in-game purchases. I guess that's an incentive, but if these purchases are enticing you, you're probably already playing the game extensively. I feel like these releases appeal to people that have never played the games before. So what does legendary weapon skin mean to them?
Overwatch
got this treatment, coming with a 3-month Switch Online membership. Wow, what is that, like $4? Then we got Wolfenstein Youngblood and Call of Juarez. They just didn't want to fucking do a card. For some reason, they both have different headers, which, I will reiterate, these headers make me feel like a fucking idiot. Oh, wait, there's no game card? Youngblood, I kind of get. This is a standalone expansion to Wolfenstein 2, a game that already required a download on Switch, albeit coming mostly on a game card. So this probably wasn't going to sell as well as that. Plus, it's 21 gigabytes. I'm not defending them doing this release. I think them just doing a standard digital one and nothing more would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Call of Juarez requires 4 gigabytes, but you know it's bad when even Nintendo does it. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit comes in this giant box, no game card, not even a download code.
Really?
It tells you, hey, just look it up. Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, they gave it this amazing collector's edition only to have a download code. This
what the fuck is the point of that?
Used a physical release. I get Mario Kart to some extent. That game uses Wi-Fi to connect the toy cart to your Switch. It might not function years down the line anyways. But Fire Emblem? That may sound like a broken record, but you're willing to do all of this, but not this.
It's expensive.
It doesn't make any sense.
Why not every game gets a physical release, but I just don't understand why some releases are treated like this, especially when the packaging is huge and they include all these other goodies, or if the game is small enough to fit on a cartridge. And the strange thing is, this doesn't work for other mediums. I bought hot dog buns, and they just came with a rain check for buns. See, that just sounds fucking loony.
What? There were no buns? Okay, that was weird. Alright. Well, I enjoyed this video. To be honest, I didn't like this as much as some of the other Scott the Woz episodes I had seen. But at the same time, what I do appreciate is that, like, I kind of just agreed with him on basically everything. Like, it doesn't make sense to release all this extravagant stuff but still require a download code. Just what's the point? Why would you do that? It just doesn't make any sense. Speaking of Mario Kart, one thing that is annoying me is when is there going to be a Mario Kart 9? What we got on the Switch is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a port of a Wii U game called Mario Kart 8. Like, it's stupid. Why isn't there a 9th one yet? Make a Mario Kart 9 already. Instead, they do this Mario Kart augmented reality thing with your toys and stuff, which is kind of cool, but you have to be in the right kind of living space to do it. If you live like in an apartment, it's going to be kind of hard to do. Or for the situation my wife and I are in, we just live in a room in someone's house. That's not going to happen. Not there. I mean, maybe if we lived in a large enough apartment, it's possible, but like that's to me it feels like something to be better purposed if you already made it, you succeeded, you live in a house now and you own the space, or you don't have roommates and stuff like that. Like, that sounds great, but it seems like it'd just be too inconvenient to set that up. At least with Lego Mario, the parts are small, and you're physically touching the parts and moving them around, all that stuff, so you don't really have to worry about it. You know where to set it up, you know what to do, what to touch, all this stuff. While with the new Mario Kart augmented reality thing, you don't. I mean, you'll control it with the Switch, sure, like a remote control basically, but you're not presently controlling the car physically. So you're likely just going to run into stuff. People are going to walk across the room. If people have pets, they're going to run across the room. They're going to bark at it, stuff like that. It's a nightmare. Anyways, that'll do it for this React video. It took a little longer than I expected, but once again, another enjoyable video from Scott the Woz. Like I said, I didn't like it as much as his other more recent videos I saw of his, but I still enjoyed it. It's still good. I mean, it's hard to find a Scott the Woz episode that I'm just not gonna like. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video with me. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to it and the stuff I added as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell icon to add me notifications. I want to mention there was that Sonic Central announcement thing. I did a react video to that over a week ago, and there was some stuff that really stood out to me on that, and I decided to re-download Sonic Dash to my new crappy, cheap $80 phone. I had it on a previous phone of mine. I'd re-download this. Thanks to having a Google Play account, I actually was able to start from where I left off and not have to start all over. And I played the game, and I actually unlocked Pirate Sonic already. Did it pretty quickly. First was this monkey guy I unlocked, and then I actually finally unlocked Silver with the spinning wheel thing. Finally unlocked Silver with that, and then I just recently, yesterday in fact, unlocked Pirate Sonic just like that. So if you guys want to see me do some live streaming of Sonic Dash, or maybe I'll just record some footage and upload it, whatever, showing Pirate Sonic, come check it out. And Pirate Shadow, I'm sure I'll get hopefully soon. I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty fun. I also still have Sonic Forces Speed Battle on my phone. I of course still got Pokemon Go, and I got Retro Bowl, but nobody watches when I record videos of me playing that or streaming it, so whatever. But anyways, I do plan to hopefully do another live stream of Super Mario Maker 2 soon, since that's the only way people will watch me live stream. It seems. I mean, I'm sure once I get a bigger, more loyal fan base, that's going to change. But and stay tuned for my Sonic movie review. It's still coming. I'm still working on it. Still trying to get it done. It should have been done sooner, but I've just been so busy with work and just so much going on. It's just been hard to actually have the time to work on the video, but it will be done. And as soon as you see my rough draft, where it's just me talking about the Sonic movie review, I'm talking about the Sonic movie, that says that the final review, fully edited, all that stuff, is just around the corner. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon to have me notifications. The reason it's taking so long with a song review besides work is just that I want to make it a really nicely done, fully edited video, make it be of a more professional quality instead of just what I'm doing now, or just record and then upload. So, yeah. Anyways, stay tuned for that. Thank you.